tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. No, I ain't tryna be like nobody else. Cause I'm having too much fun tryna be myself. No, I'm not the type of chick that like to follow trends. I got a small circle, no, don't need a lot of friends. You know I gotta get this money cause I like to spend. I see you haters watching, so I just give you a grin.
How you guys doing? It's your girl Lime Dime, and I'm here with another episode of Just Here to Vent. As promised, because I told y'all, depending on how my day was going, when this review was going to be posted. Okay? Now, I done had my little food, I done had my little drink, I done had my little nap, spent some good time with my shorty, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's time to get into this review. It's so crazy how you could just watch something and, like, forget the opening, but that's neither here nor there. I don't really remember how the episode started. Let's just start talking about Marvin. So, Marvin decides to approach Saul's son, which is the one that Neek helped while they was locked up together, because, he was about to get butt raped in that John, so... But that's how I remember him. I honestly don't remember his name, though. That's the funny part about it. Make a long story short, they're sitting there in a restaurant, diner, whatever it is, having some pizza. Marvin, he's always being silly. He's trying to joke around. And he approaches him about, basically taking care of Tony Deep Throat or whatever. So that's the lady who basically is the informant for the police, and she got some information on Marvin. So they talk about it. He's telling them he's going to give him $5,000. Now, Saul's son doesn't want his dad to know about it. Okay, so he wanted to do this kind of like as a quote-unquote side job or whatever. So Marvin, he don't really care how they get to the destination. He just wants to get there. So they make that little agreement or whatever. And then, as y'all know, it didn't go well. Like, the idiot boy Dominic, he ended up shooting the son, and now I don't know if he's dead or if they're gonna have him be dead. We don't really know, but the husband is still alive. Well, the fiance is still alive of Tony, so it's like now he probably gonna be talking, and that's what it looked like he's gonna be doing in probably the next episode, because he was just in the hospital. He only got shot in the shoulder. But it just has come to my attention that Dominic days are numbered, okay? Because whether it was they kept this to themselves, and, Saul wasn't supposed to find out about it, there's going to be backlash to be had on Marvin and Dominic, but especially Dominic, because, yes, Marvin might have set up the plan, but Dominic, you're the idiot that was in close range, and you still shot the son. So it's like you almost messed up things in the Catskills. Like, you just come off to me like you're just a fuck up. So, fuck-up's gotta die. So, I'm pretty sure that he's gonna be getting killed next episode. But if it's not next episode, he's gonna be killed before this season is done. Trust me on that. So, we moving on from that. Marvin ended up having a conversation with Jukebox. She talked to him a little bit more. She only said like a couple words to him, but he basically was asking her, like, why she didn't tell him that, her mom was back in her life, or why she didn't tell him that she was back around, and she was just basically saying, like, you wasn't doing no better. And he admitted, he took accountability to fucking up, but he was just saying, like, at least I was here, at least I didn't leave you, at least I didn't abandon you. And speaking from someone who has their own issues with a father who they have had in their life, I can say, just because you're there doesn't mean that's always a good thing. Or just because you're there doesn't always mean that you're present. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's kind of what's going on with Jukebox and Marvin. You know what I'm saying? It's just like he's not understanding that she needs certain things that he's not providing or hasn't provided in the past. That doesn't mean he can't provide them in the future. But when we look at the rate of how many fathers don't take care of their kids, I mean, yes, it is a big deal that he at least didn't abandon her. You know what I'm saying? At least he was there for her. He kept food in her mouth, clothes on her back, a roof over her head, the necessities. You know what I'm saying? So in that way, he was definitely there for her. So they're having that little small conversation. Then let's start talking about Jukebox. Now, Jukebox, I'm still on Marvin. So Marvin, he also had his little encounter with Lou. Lou sitting there trying to count the money. He ain't even count the money. He just taking the money back. I think he trying to use that money to pay the people, did they approach him yet? Yeah, pay the people at the studio, because, they was on him, and we're going to get to Lou in a minute, but we still talking about Marvin. So Marvin can kind of see, like, Lou was getting a little antsy. He got some things up his sleeves, and he's paying attention to that. So I could tell, we about to see a little bit more of that dynamic in the next episode, because everybody is kind of like going behind each other. Nobody can be trusted right now. Everybody's being sneaky. So, make a long story short, we get back to Lou. Now, Lou didn't realize that, Crown is in real debt with some high society people, some big ballers, if you want to call them that. You know what I'm saying? Basically, some people not to play with. So he owed them like $50,000, or basically the club, or basically the studio. He either got to get him the studio or get him the money. He don't have $50,000, because as y'all know from last episode, he was asking Rock for money. You know what I'm saying? And like, he's using all his money to go into that studio, and he's not really getting anything out of it yet. Now, as y'all know, we all knew that Lou and Ziza was going to start having sex. I mean, that was obvious. She clearly was on him. She wanted to be with him. And I told y'all last review, I was going to be so mad if they didn't let us see what happened to Crown, or how he got rid of the body, or anything like that. That's irked me. Like, don't come back and have him just be dead, and y'all didn't show like how you got rid of him or nothing like that. Like, that was kind of a little bit corny. That pissed me off. So I was irked about that. So they sitting in there in the studio, and Ziza kind of getting mad because she just trying to have some sex, but Lou's still talking about and listening to music. You could tell that he's really into this. He has a real passion for this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, cool. Let him have his little passion or whatever. Then we move on from Lou ended up getting beat down by the same people that Crown owed the $50,000 to. So, he got his ass kicked. He's by himself. He tried to reach for his gun. It was too late. They beat him down pretty good. Next thing you know, now he's reaching out to Cartier. But I don't think it was a good idea to get into bed with Cartier. And you can tell he was apprehensive. And let me tell y'all something. Whenever you apprehensive about doing something or it don't feel right, you just shouldn't do it. So I don't even know why he still made the deal. But clearly he's desperate. So he made the deal with Cartier. Basically, Cartier probably going to end up giving him the money. He's either going to give him the money, or he's going to provide him with the protection or whatever to, keep himself straight. Because I'm sure these probably not the only people that Crown owed, because he just seemed like he did a lot of shady business. But basically, in return, Cartier wants half of the half. So I guess that would be like a quarter of the percentage of whatever the profits he's going to receive from the studio or whatever, and the artists and things that comes with it. So, Cartier is making his money the way he make it. He know how to make a good deal. Like I told you in last review, he seems like he's a really smart person. Him and Rock been hanging out a lot. Now, I don't know if they're ever going to actually have a sexual relationship. I'm not getting that vibe, at least from Rock. You know what I'm saying? Cartier, of course, he probably down with it, but she doesn't seem like she's interested in him in that way. She probably turns her on just thinking about how much more money he can help her make. And I think that's like really the draw for her, like, because she's always thinking about her money first. Well, I guess Kanan first, but I'm going to say her money first and then Kanan. You know what I'm saying? Then everything else falls under that. So, like I said, Lou done made that deal. Like, Lou is just sitting here just messing up. Definitely Marvin was messing up this episode, and this whole situation with Saul's son is definitely going to come back to bite him in the ass. We're going to get into the preview of next week after I'm finished telling y'all everything that happened in the episode. Now, like I said, Ziza and them having sex. She's still making some good music. Now, let's get into Jukebox. Jukebox is going to church now and going to like church readings, like Bible studies, I guess you would call it, with her mom. And she's like listening to all the stuff that the pastor was saying. And, we all know that Jukebox she likes females. We know that she's a lesbian. So I feel like she's trying to change everything about herself to try to be accepted by her mom, which as a 16-year-old, it's not unrealistic for her to think that way. She has a mature and naive mind, so she's going to think that way. She's never had a relationship with her mom, so of course she doesn't want to do anything to disrupt it or disturb it or to mess it up. So I understand that side of it, but we all know how this is going to go. It's not going to end up working out in the long run, because Juke seems like the type that's not only just rebellious, but she seems like she has to be herself in order to be happy. And being in this situation with her mom is like, this is not going to work out. You can't pretend like you like boys when it's clear that you don't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the way you came to your mom should kind of already be smart enough to know, like, you dressing like a guy. I mean, you clearly are, at least, if at the very minimum, a tomboy. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a guy at church that is taking a liking to her. So, he keep like making little eyes at her, and she's trying to basically force herself to be comfortable with the idea of dealing with a man. Then she ended up going to go see Nicole at the gravesite. Her dad ended up walking up there, Nicole's dad, to be clear. He said he comes there every day. He was dropping off some flowers, and he was just saying, he didn't want to know the details because she was getting ready to tell him, I guess probably that she did get the drugs from her, but he didn't even want to know. He said, all I know is that my daughter loved you, basically saying like that's all that mattered to him. He also told her that him and his wife were getting a divorce, you know what I'm saying, and they already seemed mismatched. She was approved, and he seemed like he was a little bit more free, you know what I mean, like he was okay with a little bit more than the mom was. So I'm kind of glad that he's going to be getting his happiness. It sucks that they have to break up because I feel like they need this time to grieve with each other, just now recently losing a child, you know what I'm saying. Clearly Jukebox really, really loved Nicole. That is probably like what we would call like her first little love, her young love that she's ever had in her life. So, she's still missing her. She's still going to go see her. And she could not slowly, but deep down have a small inkling of resentment towards Kanan because he was the one that made that killer pack of drugs. You know what I'm saying? People was out there dropping like flies. So, yeah, I'm sure that that's going to play out in some way, and we're going to find out about it later, you know what I'm saying, in the episode, because how they always like to come back to things, and everything ties in, and they're always going to, bring everything together. So I'm waiting to see how that turns out with her and Kanan as far as that resentment might go. Because her trying to fake like she likes boys, we all know that this is not going to work out. She's trying to portray an image that truly is just not her. I think that what's going to happen is she's going to see, her mom's going to find out that she really likes girl or catch her doing something or something to that nature, and that's going to change the dynamic of the relationship because she's probably either going to see the real Kenya or she's going to realize that her mom is not going to accept her if she's deciding that she's going to be dealing with females, because we all know that that's not quote-unquote of the church. Also, the dad did ask about the tape that they were singing on together. He kind of, just wanted something like a little remembrance of his daughter. And she was just saying she didn't know what happened to the tape, but we all know she had the tape. So she ended up getting the tape fixed at a store or whatever, and she dropped it off at the dad's house, like sat on the step. She rung his bell, just sat on the step. At that very same time of her doing that, she saw Malcolm, Kanan's dad, the detective, coming there, and she trying to figure out what he was doing there. It was weird her seeing him, but he didn't see her. You know what I'm saying? She put her head down, and I think he's just coming there to talk about the murder or whatever. So that's that on that. So bam, they got that situation taken care of. They was talking about that. All right, cool. Now we want to sit here. We're going to be talking about the fact that who do I want to get into next? I think I want to talk about Rock. So Rock, she's having dinner with Cartier. One of his employees comes up and starts talking. He's trying to figure out like, dang, I'm paying you too much money. You out here, you able to afford this. You out here able to, eat in this restaurant with me. You know what I'm saying? And then, Rock is starting trouble. It's like telling him basically like, oh, he's trying to disrespect you, Cartier, trying to make it seem like he don't need you. That's really the long and short of what she was saying. But the long of it is basically that she's saying like, oh, what she's basically saying is like, oh, she's trying to just cause discord for her next chess move that she decided that she was going to make, which was trying to get his employees to be one of her new employees. She ended up getting his ass whooped, but little does she know that he's also got one of his men watching her. He's following her. He saw her out at dinner at talking to Juliana and the cousin, the one that is giving them their products. So, he got his own little stuff going on as well. So he's trying to watch her because he doesn't know who she is. So he doesn't even know if he could trust her or even do business with her. You know what I'm saying? So he's trying to find that out. I'm sure that that's all going to, like I said, come back to bite her in the butt because she's trying to play around with Cartier. Everybody in this whole show, they are all doing things that are just not cool to each other. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's trying to get over on this person. Everybody's being sneaky. Everybody's doing things behind the back. So, yeah, it's just a lot that's going on. So, I'm going to just leave it at that with Rock. She has a lot on her plate. You know what I'm saying? She already don't trust Unique. Juliana want her to basically get rid of Unique because she's basically feeling like he's laughing in their face. But Rock is like, we cannot act off of emotion. You know what I'm saying? And that's in real life, too. You cannot act off of emotion. You always have to think with logic, and you always have to make rational decisions. And rationality and emotions don't even go together. So let's just make that very clear. Now, who's we talking about? We talking about Rock. I think we're finished with her storyline for this particular episode. We did Marvin. We did all right. We already did Lou. Cartier is also, like I said, he's making some moves. He's trying to get into business with Rock. He's also doing some stuff behind the scenes with Lou. You know what I'm saying? But the icing on the cake is definitely this situation with Saul's son getting killed, because you know now blood has to be shed. You understand what I'm saying? Blood has to be shed behind this shit. Like, that's his son. Like, the whole reason that Unique is even cool with them is because he saved his son's life. So it's like, kind of like, not saying that might change the dynamic between Unique, but it seemed like Unique is also trying to look out for Marvin, because he came back and told Marvin, like, this is what's going on, basically, in the preview of the next episode. So I'm excited to see how things work. Like I said, Dominic has a target on his back. Marvin might also be a target, so we don't know if this was one of those stupid things that he did. Well, we do know it was one of those stupid things, but we don't know if it's one of those stupid things that he did that's going to get him killed. We're not sure yet. So I'm kind of excited to see the next episode. All in all, if I had to rate this episode, I would give this episode about 7. I said a 7. Yeah, 7.58, just because I wanted a little bit more. All I know is also Palomar, she seems like she must be a little bit slow or retarded, because she's asking a 16-year-old boy, does she seem old? Like, why do you want to sleep with a kid? To me, you a statutory rape artist, number one. And number two, I feel like it is something wrong. Like, you sick in the head, because why do you want to be young and why do you want to sleep with a kid that's the same age as your own child? Like, you're not young, you're not old, but you're not young enough to be sleeping with no 16-year-old, and that's going to end up getting her killed. She keep playing around. But Kanan already done he done already tasted Miss Parker. So he's gonna be a little bit hooked. The daughter done walked in on them, and the mom couldn't have cared less. Like, she did not care. And Corinne had to get her revenge, so she went back and told Rock. So it's about to be lit next episode. And the last 3 episodes is when everything really start to not just come together, but it'd be a lot more action sequences. So I cannot wait till next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, because I certainly did. I just gave it a 7.5 to 8, just because I was just expecting a little bit more. But I guess with these last 3 episodes, only because they already made us take a week off, and then this all y'all really gave. It wasn't giving what it was supposed to have gave. So yeah, I was expecting a little bit more. But all in all, it was a really, really good episode. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Leave a comment, share if you care, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell, please. And I'll see you guys in the next video.